This is an LLD production.
Welcome to this episode of Owlia's Opinions with Lulu McDonald, the podcast in which we take a better look into the world we love, learn new things, and debate the toughest issues the world has in store. I am one half of your co-hosts, Armon Owlia. I am a journalism student here at Drexel University in Philadelphia, and it is time to enter the new School of Thought. Well, after a surprise hacking in the finale by the demon Lulu McDonald, we are finally back on the air, albeit with tougher security. So many things we're going to talk about today. The introduction of a new talent to the LLD family, whose own show will make its debut on Wednesday, the truth about GMOs, both good and bad, and the introduction of a new law in Germany that could prove to have massive ramifications for rights in the United States. But before all that, I'd like to begin the show with two things. First, Lulu McDonald will not be appearing on the show until further notice due to an extended hiatus. I promise all of you that when she's ready, I will let you all know. However, until then, I'll be keeping her seat warm and be getting ready for her imminent arrival. Next, I want to say thank you. Our Facebook page has, as of January 8th, reached over 100 likes and follows, which is actually a very significant milestone. It took a while, but I want to thank everyone who has supported the program on social media and on our numerous platforms. I hope you guys really enjoy the content and are learning new things from it. I certainly have. So, to those of you who haven't done so yet, spread the word and give us a review on iTunes, Spotify, and Facebook, because that is what keeps the show going. A 5-star review would be great, but honestly, if you like it and you want to give us 5 stars, that's awesome. But if not, please let me know, because the show is only as good as its last episode. Again, don't forget to give us a review and spread the word. So with that both being said, let's get this show on the road. This show, when it launched on October 6, 2017, also started LLD, the production company that produces not only this podcast, but also the upcoming YouTube series LLD Reacts, and the show whose host is going to be interviewed now. When I met her about a year or so ago, I was walking up the street listening to my headphones on the way to Five Guys. I dare say if I didn't take those headphones off and engage her in a conversation, then what we would be doing now would definitely not have been possible. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest at this time, the creator, writer, and host of LLD's The Amber Shockley Project, which premieres on Wednesday. Please welcome Amber Shockley. So, Amber, thank you so much for coming onto the program.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So, obviously, high anticipation for your show debuting on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I've never done a podcast before, and even just now, this is the first time I'm really speaking into a mic, and it's pretty weird.
I know the feeling. So this is the question we normally ask our guests when they come on. This is one of the very first questions. So tell us a little bit about yourself. So who are you, what you like to do? In other words, who is Amber Shockley?
Well, that's a really difficult question, to be honest, and I hate that question. That's like the worst question you could ever be asked, but I guess it's a question that seems relevant. Who is Amber Shockley? I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out, and that's why I'm making a podcast, because I just want to talk about whatever comes to my head to figure out who I am. So, who is Amber? Little short note, I live in Philadelphia, if that's where we want to go. My hobbies include, I'm working, I'm 21 years old, I live at a hostel over in Old City. It's really fun. My goal is to travel the world and experience as much skills as possible and just enjoy whatever comes my way, I guess. So I don't really know who I am. I'm just trying to just take that, like one day I'll be like, oh, I want to be this, but the next day you don't. So it's really just a constant change, which is fun.
So it's really more of...
That's like saying what's your favorite color? That's the worst question ever. That's like saying...
I hate saying it.
What's your favorite color? Oh my gosh.
I hate saying this. I might actually already have an answer to that.
What is your favorite color?
It's red, actually.
Why?
I don't know. I've always loved the color red, just for some reason.
Okay, that's fair. I mean...
Also, I grew up in a district of Pittsburgh where red was one of the colors, so...
I close my eyes and I think, what's my favorite color? And I just see, a mush of everything. Because, maybe I'm feeling this color this day. The next day I'm feeling another color. It's just, you can't... I don't know what's my favorite color. That's not unfair to all the other colors, It's just... You gotta experience every color, I guess.
I guess you do. So, what about your upbringing here in Philadelphia? What was it like growing up in the Shockley household?
Okay, weird.
Don't worry, we ask everyone this.
I didn't grow up in Philadelphia. I grew up in the suburbs of Philadelphia, which I like to call the plastic bubble, which is Yardley, Pennsylvania. Great place. Yeah, it's a great place for kids to grow up. I'm happy I don't live there anymore. I had a happy family, I guess you could say it. I had a mom and a dad and, a sister. And, I'm not going to go into details about that because I don't know you people. So, I grew up pretty standard white female from the suburban world. But I'm happy I grew up that way, I guess, because it taught me how I don't want to live that way. So I don't know. I'm not trying to get deep here.
No, I understand.
That's like a pushy button.
No, I get it. And normally we do ask people these questions, and of course people and I think these answers really do say a lot about the person. And
what do most people say?
I don't know. I mean, good childhood, so you go into some level of detail.
I had a lot of pets, I guess, because every time I wanted an animal, I would make a PowerPoint. That's a fun fact. I would make a PowerPoint presentation to my parents, which is very impressive, I might say, because I was 8 and stuff. But yeah, and I would say why I should get this animal. So I had a rabbit. I had 2 tortoises, which I lost one of them, believe it or not. And then I found it a year later in my neighbor's pool, and I knew it was mine because you just know. And it was a tortoise. That's not a normal thing.
Yeah.
What else? Hamsters, cats. Not really bearded dragon. Pretty standard normal pets. A shitload of guinea pigs. If you go in my backyard and you dig for a little bit, you'll find a lot of shoe boxes with guinea pigs in them because that's where I buried them. But not because I killed them. They just died, and I just thought it was appropriate to have a funeral for them. But that's a random fact that I totally just remembered.
It's amazing what these interviews
it's not that many pets, yeah, but I had pets. Cool. I was cool. Got rid of half of them though because whatever. Never had a dog though. What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
for that.
I know how you feel about that.
That was the one PowerPoint that just kept going. I had a breeder set up for them and everything. That just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's a...
Yeah.
Family's family, whatever. Moving on.
Yes, moving on.
I'm an independent.
Yeah. So, like, one of the things I found really interesting when we met was that you actually, in terms of your education, you spent some time in London. So how did your time in London influence you? Like, how has that affected you as a person?
It affected me tremendously, actually. Some might say good, some might say bad. I say fantastic. It was everything I needed at the time. I graduated high school, I was about to graduate high school. I'm really impulsive, but the cool thing is that sometimes when I am impulsive, but if I have an idea and I want to do it, but it needs to take like 6 months because I was still in school, and like you need to save up money and stuff, and like I'll make that happen. And I just really didn't see myself knowing what I wanted to study, knowing what I wanted to go into school for. I really fell in love with art. I really didn't know like what I never left the country. I never really left like more than like Florida before. So I had no idea why the fuck London came to my head. But it just seemed like a really good idea, and the math made sense. It was reasonably able to be done. And what an experience, like, yeah, I don't want to go to a school ever. Well, I'm not even in college. I should be in college, but, I'm not going to invest in something that I don't really know what I'm doing there for. I don't want to be in debt the rest of my life. I also don't know what it is. Like, I might not even need a degree with whatever I want to do. Like, who knows? What is a degree? It's just a little piece of paper. That is a great accomplishment to many, and school's really cool. I love learning, but I've found that experience is a lot more important. And I just needed to do that. So I just went to London, met so many people from different, I've never been anywhere, so I just met everybody. Like, London's a cool place because London is the one place where everybody lives from all over the place. Like, you have friends from France, you have friends from Italy, you have friends from Pakistan, you have friends from Egypt, you have friends from, just freaking everywhere. And it's really cool. And it's really cool to see everybody, just like culture. And then after that, my entire life plan was just like, yeah, I'm going to keep traveling. Like, I'm just going to try and do that because I meet, and that's why it's really cool that I live in a hostel, because I'm not able to travel at this moment because I still have to like take care of a few business stuff and save up money as well. And but it feels constantly like stimulation of just like meeting these incredible people from all over the place. And it's really important. And it's really, you never know what you can learn. You never know who somebody else can teach you. And I think that's a lot more than, a campus. to me. And we're all different people, and I respect that. And, I value everybody's ideas of whatever. But for me, I learn a different way. And I realize that myself, and it might not look right, but there is no right and wrong, folks. So, period.
Yeah. So arbitrary. So in other words, London really gave you a greater sense of perspective.
Yeah. Like a lot. Yeah. Travel, please. Run away. And do it alone. Like, I'm so independent because I love being alone. Because you never learn more about yourself when you're alone, and you have to make your own decisions, and you don't follow anybody else. And first off, you can meet people wherever, so you're never really alone. But you still can kind of like pave your own path, and it's really, really a good idea, and I highly suggest it. Just like go somewhere that you're terribly uncomfortable. Like, weirdly though, when I moved to London, first day I was like, yep, This is my place. You just figure it out. Like, everyone was like, oh, well, you didn't know how to do anything. You just figure it out. And it's really simple because, one, the internet, and two, like, you know, you just be smart. Like, just street smarts. Like, it's a fucking really important thing to have. So, yeah. London was cool. Yeah. It's a cool spot.
And when you came back to Philadelphia after London, how do you think that changed your behavior?
I actually came back to London with the intention of just immediately going to Italy. So I was going to go to Italy and be an au pair. So I came back here and already had that planned up. I found somebody to go live with. I was going to be living with in Bologna, Italy, with these two little girls and their mother.
Bologna's beautiful.
Yeah, I really wanted to do it, but here's the thing. I wanted to stay for more than a year or more than 3 months, so I needed a student visa. To hack that, I didn't want to actually go to school, though, but to hack that, you can get a 6-month visa if you take, like, a student language course, so, and that's, like, a little bit more reasonably priced. It was, like, what, like, I think in U.S. currency, it was, like, gonna be like $4,000 or something, which seems like a lot, but then I'm going over there not having to pay rent because I'm living with this person, getting fed, and also getting paid to watch their kids. I fucking love kids too. I don't curse like that in front of them, by the way, but I really like kids, so it seemed right. I've nannied before, but then right when I came back, I was working like a ton of jobs, just like overbooked myself to the point where there was one day that they all got, I scheduled all 3 jobs on the same day and at the same time, and I didn't like to work, and I didn't know how that happened. So I tried to manage to do both of them, all of them, and I ended up being fucked by one of the jobs, got in like a lot of trouble, and then I was just like, I just had this realization. I was like, yep, that's a bad idea. I should slow it down a bit, because then, you know, you think and then I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to go to Italy, come back for 6 months, and have to redo this again. And first off, I do not want to live in Yardley ever again. So, like, you know, it's cool. Yeah, my parents are great, but, like, I don't need a home. I can travel, but, like, coming back and then you have to, like, kind of, like, chill at your, like, fam's place for a little bit. I only lasted, like, a couple weeks. And then I was like, yeah, I can't do this. So I just took the money that I was raising to go to Italy and just moved to Philly and bought moved into an apartment. And then I said I was going to save up money to do that. So, yeah. Yeah, so it's weird how things just shift, but, like, that was an impulsive idea. It was a great idea, and it would have been cool, but I would have just came back again and had to redo it again, and that's fine. I'm fine with that lifestyle now because I know how to hack it in certain situations where, like, for example, I would come back and probably, like, live back at a hostel instead, so it would feel, like, better. But, it's hard. It's hard trying to get visas. It's a difficult process. It takes a bit of time as well. Yeah. But, so I was like, okay, fine. We won't do that now. We'll chill for a bit. And I'm still here. I'm actually I've been here for almost a year, I think, now. Yeah. That's what it feels like. Which isn't that long. But to me, it feels like a really long time. Like, I'm ready to move out of Philadelphia, but, I said I was going to move out of here in, like, the summertime, maybe, probably. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So, when you came back to Philadelphia, tell us about your time working at Children's International, because that's how Always Opinions actually mentioned, and that's how you first were mentioned.
It's actually called Plan International.
My bad.
Yeah, dude, that's called canvassing. So I got this canvassing gig that I actually did for a while, and I fucking loved it. It was the best experience of my life because, first off, you don't learn how to do anything. I'm not going to talk about the charity because The charity's great, but if that's what you want me to talk about,
No, don't worry.
That's dumb.
No, it's just
nobody
really
wants
about
to
your
hear that.
Well, we've talked about that already on the show on a previous episode. I just wanted to ask about really the experience of that.
I'm just saying, if anyone wants to learn, here's the thing: everybody wants to be if you want to be an artist, cool. If you want to be a business person, cool. If you want to be whatever you want to be, cool. But you got to know how to sell. And I know I'm not saying like scumbag sell because I'm a very honest individual, but I've learned how to sell things, sell an idea, sell a passion, sell whatever by canvassing. Not anything that like a salesman can't be a canvasser, but a canvasser can be a salesman. Like it's just like you stand out there on the street for hours and you talk to random people. And we would do it, like, not in a corny way, though. Like, I had a family, like, they were so fun. And I would just be like, hey, man, what's up? And, like, the idea is so weird. Like, this person's not going into a store to buy a pair of shoes. This person is walking down the street, probably, like, I don't know, maybe going to, like, see their, like, mistress or something. Mistress, what is it? Yeah,
mistress.
Mistress or something. I don't know what they're doing. I don't ask questions. But, somehow I gain their attention and I get them to invest and, like, want to be a part of a charity that they've never heard about. That's really cool, though. But I've convinced them in a short span of time. Also, I'm not talking about like a little donation. These are like monthly reoccurring donations that we did. And that's a lot, but also just like really cool to know that you could do that. And I'm not saying like, oh, it's like fun, like a game, but like it's good to know that I was doing that, learning these skills, but it's constant rejection. Like you're just out there and people are just like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And you're just like, haha, like, doesn't even faze me. And that's the beauty of life, and it's a really good life lessons. I suggest if you're a shy person, do it. Like, just throw yourself out there because you just realize that you don't need to give a fuck about what anybody thinks. Like, I'll say whatever I want to any individual, and it's because of canvassing. It's just like, I don't care. You're a person, cool. Like, it's really funny, and it was really fun. I loved it, and I actually just ran into them on the street the other day, and they like changed up their whole office space, and I might be going back. I might be going back. I had to leave them because I needed a break. It does wear you down. I did it. I didn't do it for as long as some people have been doing it. Like I have friends that do it for like 10 years. But I did it for, a big chunk, but I did it for a lot of days as well. Like, I would work 7 days a week sometimes because I liked it so much because it was just so fun. And, like, I was just hanging out with my friends in a sense. But it starts to, like, you start to get in your head, and then I started to get, like, crazy. And I just, like, felt like my lifestyle generally wasn't in shape either. Like, and that didn't help. And, I just needed a break. So I just, like, got a break. I feel, like, a lot better in my life anyway. So then when I ran into them, I was like, oh, my gosh, I might come back. Like, it would be funny. Like, it would be weird because I never go back to things before. But it's a job that you can just do. You can just pick it up once you do it. Like, once you already know how to do it, you can just do it again. And it's kind of like an independent job as well. Like you have a team. Yeah. And it would be cool because I'm trying to travel, so, like, that's a job where I'm not, like, I can, like, up and leave, and it's not, like, the team's gonna, like, shut down, because it is, like, all about, like, your personal numbers at the end of the day, even though we go out as groups. But anyway, like, yeah, canvassing was cool, like, whatever.
And I think it was because of canvassing that you and I met.
Yeah, I met a lot of people outside because of canvassing.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of weird friends because of canvassing. I still see people that on the street that I met through canvassing. Philadelphia is a small world, really small world. It's really funny. And when you're out there every single day in like different locations, but you still see the same people, it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
So,
I dare say without canvassing, this would not be possible, what we're doing right now. I dare say.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, and I even said, like, literally just before this interview even began, if I had not taken my headphones off that one day when I was going to Five Guys to get a burger, then the Amber Chocolate Project, it might still have happened. But, you know, what we're doing right now would not have at all been possible.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's crazy how things work out for the best, right?
Right.
Yeah. So along the lines of that, the Amber Shockley Project. Wow. Like, what an ambitious thing to do, because because we had a lot of meetings regarding that. We've talked months regarding the project. So how did that start for you?
What do you mean? Like the concept?
Yeah, the concept of the Amber Shockley Project.
Like what it's going to be about?
No, like, how did that start for you? Like, take us all the way back to the beginning from day one when you said, okay, I'm going to start this.
Well, for a bit, I've always thought that I wanted to start a podcast, but I'm not really good at starting things. Because I'm a dreamer. No,
but you're not the only one.
Yeah, no. You know, life happens, and you know, I just like have a lot of great ideas, but like I don't know how to initiate it, and I guess a lot of other people were telling me, like, make a podcast, and I was like, I write all the time, so, but my writing isn't really, like, shared to the world, and I want things to now exist. Like, I just want everything to exist. It would be just cool for, like, me to just exist, like, digitally. I'm not a digital person, so I'm, like, trying to hop on that wave now, and that's why it's funny. Yeah. I'm like an old lady, and like, what's this the internet? But, no, it's really important to actually stay in touch with your generation. I used to be like, I'm an old soul and blah, 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 but, like, fuck that. Still have your notebooks, Amber, but, like, come on, put it on a digital recording. And then you actually, as I was thinking about all of this, and this is weird.
Yeah. Because
this all happened, I was at a bar, and some dude was telling me, like, make a YouTube podcast. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to. And then I'm pretty sure 2 days later you called me up and you were like, yo, you should make a podcast. And I was like, yeah. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, let's do that. Yeah. You kind of said that you would do the work, which, not the work, but just like, you know,
like I'd help
making sure it happens, like putting me to a date, which is needed because I know me. Like, I'll be like, yeah, I'll do it. And then I'll be like, I'll do it.
And then,
because I'm very impulsive. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'll do it right now. Because, like, me, if I came up with, like, the idea of doing a podcast, I'll be like, I'll do it right now. And, like, record. And that's, like, cool. But, like, I think it's better to do it like this, probably. I don't know. I mean, it's really funny because I don't know. It's just, like, what is this podcast? I don't know what it's going to be. I just honestly want to listen to myself speak. Like, I don't give a fuck if anybody else listens. But it's cool if, I can hear myself. Yeah. Because I don't really know what's happening.
I mean, you've actually sampled a few things with me. Like, when we were talking on the phone, you gave me a few ideas that you had, and I thought all of them were really good. And I'm going to say this, like...
It's hard to plan, though.
I know.
Like, I've been struggling with this, and you're going to be mad at me. Because you're telling me, okay, yeah, you gotta,
You gotta script it out.
You gotta script it out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I am scripting it out. But then I feel like really lame when I'm like thinking about what I wrote down. Like, I write things down because I remember them better. But at the end of the day, I still need to rant. Like, I don't know. I don't know. And it's really going to be, like, days where I'm not going to want to talk, and there's going to be days where I'm just going to, like, make, like, probably 5 podcasts and then just, like, post them, like, every week. Yeah. Because that's just how my brain works, maybe, and also, like, I don't know. I don't know what this podcast is going to be about. Like, I still can't tell you to this day. Like, everyone keeps asking me, like, oh, what's it going to be about? God knows what.
It's the inner workings of Amber Shockley's mind.
Yeah. It's the Amber Trolley. Yeah, I was saying that earlier. Yeah, it's the Amber Trolley, and like, you know, if you don't want to be on board, like, I don't give a fuck. The train's gonna keep going. Yeah. So I'm having a good time. I don't really care. I don't know. Like, I just want to like think about like things and maybe like help people think about things as well. Like, I think I have like I've had some weird experiences, and I think I could generate those experiences into like a light, sort of funny, maybe someone can learn something from me. That would be sick.
That'd be awesome.
Like, that would be pretty cool. Like, I want to motivate people in a way to like be who the fuck they want to be. Like, that's why it's called the Amber Shockley Project. Like, people were like, that's a dumb name, and I was like, well, I know it's really boring because it's my name, but like, that's what it is. Like, it's just simply, I remember from my high school yearbook, my and it was such a terrible thing. First off, I didn't even have a senior picture. Like, everyone gets their senior pictures and it's like a big deal. Mine's blank because I missed the senior pictures. Apparently you got them in the mail and you take them in the summer. Did not get that memo. Yeah. So, there's a blank picture. There's nothing there. And then all it says at the bottom, like, everybody had to write a quote, and apparently you had to like quote somebody else, like some inspirational quote that somebody said. And I was like, well, that's dumb. Why can't I just quote myself? Because like, I don't want to fucking quote anybody else, which is kind of stupid of me. But I couldn't come up with anything else other than, and they rejected it. They were like, we can't accept this. And then I wrote him like the dude who like was in the yearbook committee, and I was like, okay, this is like ridiculous. You should. And it was such a funny big deal, but it was also just like, so my senior quote, which doesn't matter at all, is just, I'm Amber Shockley, and it's terribly terrible. Not even a quote, I'm pretty sure, but that's what is said, and there's a blank photo. So check out my yearbook, I guess, and you'll find out a lot about me.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like what this is. It's just like, the Amber Shockley Project. Like, I don't know. It's a project.
Yeah. And I'll tell the fan base if you hate the title, the Amber Shockley Project, don't blame her, blame me, because I came up with that.
Yeah, you did come up with it. So, and it was perfect.
Yeah. And I also thought it had a nice ring to it. The Amber Shockley Project. It's just something that has a very nice ring to it.
I like my name. Yeah. I don't know if that's selfish or blah, blah, whatever.
No, you have a good name.
I like my name.
It works really, really well in terms of these types of things. It works amazingly well.
I think it's a memorable name, yeah.
Oh my God. It's not just a memorable name. It's a time.
It's a time.
Oh, I never thought I'd be able to work that into a show ever. But okay.
That was so lame. How excited you got about that.
It's not lame. It's just excitable. I'm really excited for your show, and I think, honestly, everyone should be. So, Mike.
I got to figure out how to do it, first off. But I'm excited just because it will be funny. Like, I just want to listen to myself. That sounds so bad, but, like, I want to just, like, I think it would be, like, I make so many Instagram stories. Yeah, follow me on that gram.
Yeah.
But I make so many Instagram stories just so I can, like, watch them. And I forget how many people are watching them because I, like, think they're funny. So I just, like, laugh to myself about it.
Don't worry, you're not the only one laughing.
But I don't realize that, like, everybody else can see. And I just don't really care if people are watching or not, but, like, to me, it's just like, oh, this is funny. I want to keep watching it for 24 hours, I guess.
You know, actually, my favorite one of the Instagram videos you've put up over the years, it's the one where you're in front of City Hall for ABC6, and you just, someone's talking about Mr. Anki the Christmas Pooh from South Park, and you just turn the mic to yourself and go, I don't watch television.
Oh, yeah. That was when I, like, would mess with people on the streets. I want to keep doing that, actually.
You'd be good as an internet prankster, I'd say. You'd be amazing.
Right? I just need to have, like, somebody get a camera and record it.
Yeah. I mean, LLD always
I need cam crew.
I mean, an LLD always has a spot open for a prank show. If no one wants to do it, then you can obviously do it. It's up to you. So, one last question for you. And this might be difficult for you to answer. I'll get that. What plans do you have for the future?
You're funny.
Oh, no. That's actually the final question I ask everybody.
Okay. Great question. Yes,
it is.
What are my plans for the future? To survive, I guess. No, I don't know. Honestly, I think my plans for the future are to really just take care of myself. I'm like been in this like whole like amazing, weird, kind of like got into like a dive bar situation for a bit in Philadelphia, which led me to learn and reflect a lot. I was like sitting like an old man at a bar for a bit in the summertime, and I just wrote endlessly, and and I learned so much about myself during that time, and I wasn't even doing anything like exciting, but it needed to happen because now moving into the transition of like action. And the action is, I'm living in a hostel. I moved into the hostel. I changed like my environment. Now I have no attachments to anything. Like I don't own anything, which is great. Like I own some things, but I don't need to own it. Like I don't own furniture anymore. I don't own, like I've basically gave away half of my clothings. I don't own like a house. I don't own like an apartment. I have no ties. I can just up and leave whenever I want. And that's beautiful to me. And it's really refreshing. So my future plans are I'm going to try and travel the States. I want to go to the desert for a bit. I want to still be able to do these podcasts as well. Like that would be fun. I want to get into like some, I don't know, like do weird shit. I want to kind of like get into comedy a bit.
Like
I don't think I'm that funny. Yeah, maybe stand up because I like writing. Think about it. I like writing.
Yeah.
And I kind of like being funny.
Yeah, and that's just a natural combination.
Yeah, and it's also I've learned, and this sounds so bad. I learn so much from comedians. Like, you honestly will watch them. I watch them all the time now. And I'm just like laughing, and then you leave it with, holy shit, I just learned a load about everything. They're genius. Like, they're so brilliant. And it's just, I'm not saying, oh, I want to be a comedian, haha, like laugh people, but I'm not funny. I don't know how they do it too, because it would be kind of hard to like plan your funniness, But I don't know. I want to just try different things. I want to learn a lot of skills, and I want to go then over to I would like to go to Asia for a bit. Yeah, I want to go to Indonesia for a little bit. I want to travel. That's it. I don't want to have a home. I just want to travel. That would be my home. I've actually am living in a hostel and like so adapted to a weird fucking lifestyle where I'm like just have no privacy, and I love it. It's actually what I prefer and what makes me more comfortable, weirdly. So, I want to go to Australia. Yeah. I met a lot of Aussies lately who have hooked me. I want to work on some farms. I don't know. I want to survive as well. I don't want to die. But,
who doesn't?
I mean, that's a whole nother segment. Death isn't the scariest thing.
Sure.
But, I don't know what my plans are. It sucks too, because my plans 6 months ago were like, I'm going to go to school in January. And here I am now of like, I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to. Not yet, at least. School will always be there, But right now, I just want to be free and like see what I can get out of that. You never know what you can run into. Yeah. That's the cool thing. You just got to like take every experience though. So I don't plan on being in Philly though. Yeah. I can promise you that. And if I do, like, kidnap me and take me away. Because it's a great place, but...
For legal reasons, I will say I won't kidnap you, I promise. Just for legal reasons.
Well, somebody out there can kidnap me and bring me out of Philadelphia, because, no, I'm not gonna... It's not possible. It's not even, like, a thing.
Yeah.
I just roasted Philadelphia. No, Philadelphia's great.
Yeah.
Philadelphia's great, but it's cold.
Oh, I can attest to that. Yeah. So yeah, the Amber Shockley Project airs Wednesday on SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, Spotify.
Oh, it's Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. Yes, it is.
Wow. Okay, that's good. It's good to know.
Ooh.
Good to know.
Good to know, indeed. So like I was saying, Amber Shockley Project will debut its first episode on Wednesday on SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and Spotify. The free spirit, Amber Shockley, thank you so much for coming on the show. Hopefully we get to have you again soon.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. This actually was like really relaxing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like when you have a voicemail.
Yeah.
You know, when you have to make a voicemail, but then you realize you're just like talking to yourself, and you're just like, this is weird.
No, I get it.
And you're just really awkward.
That's what I love about the interview. It's like it's a one-on-one thing.
Yeah, it's cool. I hope I can do it alone.
I know you can. You just gotta breathe. That's all.
Yeah.
And always remember it's a time.
All right.
Yeah.
It is a time.
It is.
Thanks, whoever the is listening.
Yeah. Amber Shockley, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know about you, but I'm quite excited about the show. So fresh and new and a fantastic mind. I wouldn't miss it. However, I'm only one man, so I'd like to know, what do you guys think? Please go to www.lovelanddebate.com, click on the Love tab, and you'll find the transcript of our interview there. Put any questions and comments in the comments section, and I will reply. There will be more information on the show within the description section. So, we are going to take a short break. When we come back after this song by Love Child, we'll talk about a subject that gets badly distorted by the media. However, there is more to this story than meets the eye. We'll be back after this.
Not a way love hurts me all, never be too minus one together. Like my tongue's numb, yeah, numb, with no appetite to be together. Now you go and start to cry, 'cause my appetites don't lie. I'm jealous. But if you find yourself dissatisfied, let's go hit your Uber ride and go. I said fuck this conversation. This'll never be a relationship. You're too jealous, you're too impatient. Yeah, coming at me with that entitlement. I don't wanna hear how you love me. Why you pushing me when I'm hurt? You know I lost my own sense of self-worth. You see me crying on the goddamn floor. Others is doing all wrong. We ain't together. No, we ain't together. We ain't together. I said we ain't together. No, we ain't together, no. Why love hurts me all, never be two minus one together. Now my pulse quickens like the drums, and ain't my fault you wanna be together. Now you go and start to whine, it's like the one and only night. Oh hell nah. Ask yourself, baby, if I dropped the line ever since that one done died. No. I said fuck this conversation. This'll never be a relationship. You're too jealous, you're too impatient. Yeah, coming at me with that entitlement. I don't wanna hear how you love me. Why you pushing me when I'm hurt? You know I lost my own sense of self-worth. You see me crying on the goddamn floor. Others is doing all
So that was Together by Lovechild. And, well, it's Lovechild. She is someone who I have talked about on this show before, and someone who I believe could be one of the next big stars in the music world. All she needs is the right opportunity and platform. And as a result, I'm grateful to be playing her music at this point in her career. Lorne Michaels, if you're listening, I only have 4 words to say about her. Future SNL music guest. Again, this was Together by Lovechild. Her most recent single, Air Max 95's remix, is available on iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. All links will be in the description. It is often said that humans need 5 basic needs for survival: air, water, shelter, sleep, and of course, food. Since the dawn of the earliest civilizations, food has been at the center of many breakthroughs of both society and technology, with techniques such as irrigation playing a massive role in the ways we eat today, as well as different methods of preparation that have slowly elevated the numerous cultures and viewpoints of the world. Now, in the 21st century, one defined by rapidly evolving technological breakthroughs, we, the human race, have begun to take the next step in food, one which could change and has changed lives: the age of genetically modified organisms, more commonly referred to as GMOs. A GMO is a type of organism, whether it be a plant or animal, which, through engineering, has had their genetic material modified. This technique is highly associated with the agricultural industry, in particular with crops such as corn, soy, alfalfa, cotton, and rice. More on that later. A lot has been said about GMOs on the news, but GMOs mainly having a negative connotation. As one person commented on our social media, quote, "The question here, is it modified by hands that know harmony or not?" However, the majority of those who responded via social media had an overall indifferent opinion, with one claiming that they, quote, "don't really mind," and another writing, "honest, we don't know enough knowledge." So, are GMOs good or bad? And in either case, what can we do to make them better? Before we can answer these questions, we need to take a look into what GMOs are and the issues that have been raised, on top of the numerous benefits that have persisted in the scientific community. First, what is the history of GMOs and why are they so special? GMOs are the next step in the intentional crossbreeding done by farmers over the years to produce crops that will be more durable and tastier than others, which in itself was a step up from cross-pollination that occurs naturally. These would not have been possible had it not been for the body of work left by the father of genetics, the infamous monk Gregor Mendel. The discovery of DNA in 1952 by Watson and Crick, however, would take crossbreeding to another step. Scientists would insert foreign genetic material to create a more durable, disease and pest-resistant, and tastier crop. Scientists would take foreign genetic material and apply it to the plant, meaning that, for an example, a tomato can be produced for cans that will cost 20% less to make than in the traditional method. This also extends into the field of pesticides, which are genetically modified to kill different types of plants and pests that ruin the crops. In fact, these are in almost every food you find within a supermarket or even a farmer's market, because many of these pesticides are commercially available. For the most part, GMOs have actually been saving the world. For example, in 2000, a GMO version of rice called golden rice, named for its color, would be engineered to help prevent vitamin A deficiency, which is prominent in countries with a limited food supply. In short, GMOs are helping to solve the world hunger issue. This extends even beyond food, as Exxon Oil Company developed an oil-eating microorganism, Alcavanorax borcomensis, in 1983. This organism has been present at Deepwater Horizon after the infamous 2011 oil spill, and is a huge reason the effects are actually not as harmful as they should be. However, with these breakthroughs in technology have come massive controversies that extend far beyond the agricultural world. First, the perfection of GMO technology could, in theory, be extended to eugenics. In other words, you could create the perfect child from the genes you want. Think Hitler's dream of a master Aryan race fully realized in a laboratory. Or, better yet, think of Khan Noonien Singh, the hyper-intelligent, hyper-strong, hyper-ambitious, and infamous Star Trek villain. A genetically engineered human who attempted to take over Earth and, in fact, was the absolute ruler of Earth from Asia to the Middle East and a massive tyrant. The question for debate amongst those who are anti-GMO in this regard is where the line should be drawn. Where should the quest for perfection stop, and the seeking of imperfection begin? There is no definitive answer to that. However, the answer may need to come sooner than we all realize. Next, the problem with GMOs in the field of pesticides. Arguably one of the most famous agricultural companies in the world was America-based Monsanto, which at one point was a significant producer of not only genetically engineered crops, but also pesticides such as Roundup, a product created from genetically re-engineered glyphosate, a herbicide, and one of the most commonly used herbicides by farmers. The controversies with Monsanto began in 1991 when Craven Laboratories Inc., which supposedly tested how much glyphosate, including Roundup, was safe for human consumption, was found to have fraudulently analyzed the samples by the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA. As glyphosate is a herbicide, which kills pests, these tests were crucial. However, Monsanto later stated that those tests conducted by Craven had been repeated, and that there was nothing to worry about. 5 years later, in 1996, the New York State Attorney General's office accused Monsanto of false advertising, with Monsanto claiming that their spray-on glyphosate-based herbicides, such as Roundup, were safer than table salt, quote, practically non-toxic to mammals, birds, and fish, and were, quote, biodegradable and, quote, environmentally friendly. Monsanto would end up settling the case, admitting no wrongdoing, and agreed to remove the claims from New York State advertising. However, in 2001, a similar lawsuit would hit Monsanto, this time in France, the result of which would not be as fortunate. They would be convicted of false advertising in January 2007, which was confirmed 2 years later, paying a fine of €15,000 or $19,000. However, the lawsuit that would end up not only crippling the company, but cause it to be sold to Bayer, was one that occurred this past August. Monsanto was forced by a San Francisco federal court to pay $289 million in damages to 46-year-old former school groundskeeper Dwayne Johnson, who accused Roundup and Ranger Pro, another product manufactured by Monsanto, of giving him non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a potentially fatal cancer of the lymph system. Johnson, who doctors estimate will not live past next year, said in his testimony, quote, "The funny thing about it that I will never forget is she said that it's safe enough to drink. You know, she told us that in training, said, oh, don't worry, it's safe enough to drink, but don't drink it, you know. And, you know, be careful. It's not something to play with, but you don't have to worry too much about it." Despite 5,000 similar lawsuits across the United States, Monsanto and the EPA have both denied the link between glyphosate and cancer. However, the EPA's results have also been under scrutiny due to revelations of shady business practices by Monsanto, in particular alleged collusion with EPA official Jess Rowland, who was in charge of evaluating the cancer risk of Roundup and asking writers to say glyphosate is not carcinogenic, supplying materials in return. As John Aquavella, an academic involved in Monsanto-funded research writing, said in 2015 through an email to a Monsanto executive, "I can't be part of a deceptive authorship on a presentation or publication." Both the World Health Organization and the European Union have classified glyphosate as a potentially carcinogenic to humans, as well as, quote, dangerous for the environment and, quote, toxic for aquatic organisms, which makes it seem that pesticides such as Roundup are too dangerous both for those who use it and the environment around them. However, despite all the potential dangers in the GMO world, there are just as many with many organizations who are non-GMO, in particular the Non-GMO Project, based in Bellingham, Washington. The project, founded in 2007 by the Natural Grocery Company in Berkeley and the Big Carrot Natural Food Market in Toronto, is a company of approximately 20 employees dedicated to removing GMOs from grocery stores through endorsing products with their distinctive and highly sought-after labels to encouraging legislation enforcing the labeling of GMOs. Their stances have been widely known as anti-GMO. However, despite this, there are a few flaws in their organizational structure and even their labeling system that should be a concern. First, their organizational structure, starting with one of their founders and executive director, Megan Westlake. You would expect that the organization's leader would not only have expertise on a subject, but also the proper education. However, her LinkedIn page shows that in college, first at Haverford College and then at Scripps College, she received degrees in the fine arts and studio art with a minor in dance, respectively. Hardly the amount of education needed to make the non-GMO claims that her organization has been making. Add in the fact that the only experience she has had before the creation of this organization was 2 years at the controversial Food Conspiracy Cooperative's membership and marketing team in Tucson, Arizona, and you can create leadership that is slightly flawed. Their communications manager, Kristen Wheeler, is not much different, as much of her experience has been with the National Park Services, working in public affairs, as well as the Institute at the Golden Gate, Forest Ethics, and Greenpeace. However, her college education is one that is strange. While she does have a degree in environmental sustainability from the Higher Education Consortium on Urban Affairs, she has 3 bachelors in political science, geography, and art history. Again, hardly the resume expected from a science-based organization. On top of that, while the non-GMO Project Verified sticker has gained praise from Consumer Reports for their accuracy, some publications such as the Wall Street Journal and Forbes have openly criticized it, and rightfully so, for their deceptive nature, with many foods with the same ingredients gaining the stamp and others not getting so. It is also the highly deceptive in making consumers thinking that eating GMOs are not safe when organizations such as the WHO, the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, the American Medical Association, the National Academy of Sciences, and many other reliable organizations have all declared GMOs safe to eat. There's even non-GMO Project Verified water. Silly enough when water is not genetically modified to begin with. So, what should be done? Should GMOs be banned altogether? Well, first of all, it's not possible at all, and should not be attempted due to how well integrated they have been in the worlds of food and agriculture. GMOs, as stated before, have saved lives, and will continue to do so. However, there has not been enough research done into the long-term health effects of GMOs and the many pesticides and herbicides. However, there is one thing in the long term that will help, at least for the easing of the mind. One that will potentially gain support for GMOs and increase the possibility of choice. The proper labeling of GMOs. In 2015, the Mellman Group conducted a study that concluded that 89% of their participants favored mandatory labels of GMOs. Furthermore, in the state of Vermont, where such a requirement exists, the labeling process actually decreased the level of opposition to GMOs, even boosting consumer confidence. According to University of Vermont economist Jane Kolodinsky, who is quoted as saying, "A lot of policy is made on speculation and assertion." However, labeling could also be considered a metaphorical kiss of death, as was the case in the European Union and the Organic Consumers Association, who credited labeling as the reasons GMOs have been driven out of European grocery stores. In the end, there is still much we don't know. We don't know the long-term effects, nor do we know what we should do to improve them. We still have so much to learn, and until then, we should be eating responsibly, whether the food is GMO or not. Bon appétit. So what do you guys think? Do you agree? Disagree? Indifferent? Either way, please go to www.lovelearndebate.com, click on the Learn tab, and you'll find the article there. Put any questions and thoughts in the comments section. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back after this song, covered by the great guitarist Alexander Misko, whose latest single, Wind of Change, is available on iTunes and Spotify, I'll close out the show by talking about Germany's new law, and how the United States stacks up against it. And now, some final thoughts. A debate to start at the end of this program. In the course of history, many things have been sure. We are born, we grow, we learn, and we die. However, much of that experience is purely defined by what we are born as. For as long as humanity has existed, the human race has been biologically split up into the genders of man and woman, with very little to no questioning behind it. However, recently that has been thrown into question as, with the rise of awareness towards the LGBTQ+ community, there has been an equal rise of consciousness towards those who are intersex and non-binary. In other words, people who biologically or psychologically feel they do not fit into either category. Despite, too, the rise in rights for those in the LGBTQ+ community, there has not been enough attention towards those who are intersex or non-binary. Until now. Last year, on December 13th, the Bundestag, Germany's federal parliament, approved a law which would allow a gender X designation on German birth certificates, becoming the first European country to do so. It was an extension of a previous German law established in 2013, with the only difference being a medical certificate being needed to prove the need for the designation. The law itself was created after Germany's highest court, the Federal Court of Justice, ruled that forcing people to declare themselves either a man or a woman to be unconstitutional. The fact, too, that between 0.05 to 1.7% of the world's population is intersex, according to the United Nations, and many more considering themselves non-binary, and the subsequent designation proved to be inevitable. The gender X designation, called divers, took effect on January 1st, and has been declared the first step not just for Germany, but also for the world. This is especially true here in the United States, where the laws and recognition for those who are intersex and non-binary vary from state to state. 10% of the states, or 5 states, completely recognize non-binary gender through both birth certificates and government-issued IDs. Washington State, Oregon, California, New York, and New Jersey. 7 more states recognize non-binary gender through government-issued IDs alone. Colorado, Minnesota, the District of Columbia, Massachusetts, Maine, Nevada, and Arkansas. The government of Ohio, at the moment, is experiencing a lawsuit launched by the ACLU and Lambda Legal, which, if ruled against them, would force the state to recognize non-binary gender through both government-issued IDs and birth certificates. Finally, the state of Utah, and the case of one Mel Vandegraff, who was one of the first members of that state to receive a gender non-binary marker on their government documents. However, Vandegraff received it on a slight technicality due to a combination of interpretation and no direct policy. Republican Utah State Senator Todd Weiler of Woods Cross has stated that he will attempt to broach policy that will deny the citizens of Utah that sticker. While his original attempt failed in last year's session, he has stated he will attempt it again this year. Apart from the states mentioned, there are 36 states with no policies that would recognize non-binary gender, and that's a significant problem. For many years, America has always been known as the country that seems to be behind the times. We were late to the game in giving women the right to vote, allowing those in the LGBTQ+ community to get married, and we still, to this day, have allowed racism to control public policy. For the first time in our nation's history, it is time to get on the same page and agree on something. Whether it is a man, woman, or X, we are all human. We are all the same, flesh and blood, so what difference should it make to create another gender? It may be going against tradition and institution we have held dear for many generations. However, maybe it's time to create a new one. One of equality for man, woman, and X. So what do you guys think? Do you agree or do you disagree? Or do you have a different opinion? Either way, please go to www.lovelearndebate.com, click on the debate section, and respond, please. And while you're at it, don't forget to like us on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/lovelearndebate. Follow us on Twitter at LoveLearnDebate. Follow us on our Instagram page at LoveLearnDebate. Subscribe to the podcast on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. And don't forget to give us a review. 5 stars would be amazing. My thanks to Omila Rijani for the graphics and show soundtrack, Love Child and Alexander Miskol for their amazing musical contributions to this show, and Hilary Lau and Lola Heffernan for their tremendous generosity in lending their voices. That's it for this week. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks, ready to go. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, keep loving, keep learning, keep debating. We'll see you next time on the New School of Thought. Goodbye.
This has been an LLD production, recorded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.